Rangers against Alloa Athletic, and your commentator, Al Lamont.
Hi Stuart, 0-0 here with 4.5 minutes on the clock. Alongside me, Tony Docherty and Rory Loy. No major assaults on goal as yet, but Rangers certainly dominating in the final third. In these early stages, looking to move the ball about rapidly and get that early opening goal, but Dowell flips the ball out of goal. It allows me to just run through the teams for you. It's Liam Kelly in goal from a vastly changed Rangers side. Max Aarons, Nasser Giga, Emmanuel Fernandez on his debut, and Bailey Rice in at left back. Midfield, the Joe Rodwell, Nedim Bayrami and Kieran Dowell, with Oscar Cortez and Mikey Moore also on his debut on the wings, and Danilo through the middle for Alloa. It's Liam McFarlane in goal. Owen Foster, David Devine, Scott Taggart and Callum Waters at the back. Stephen Hetherington, Stephen Skugel, Curtis Roberts, Stephen Buchanan and Calvin Orsi in a five-man midfield with Luke Rankin up front. Rangers play the ball forward, but straight onto the head there of Devine, and it's Fernandez who knocks it down to Giga there. Giga, the only survivor from that defeat out in Pilsen in midweek, albeit Rangers progressing, of course, to the Champions League playoff round, which comes this midweek against Club Brugge. It will likely be their stiffest test so far, as Roswell plays it to Dowell, right hand side, back with Roswell. And here's Giga, sent off in his last game at Ibrox as they stumbled again against Dundee. Now it's Aarons, right hand side, steps away from one player, Calvin Orsi on that far side. Rory, it's been it's all Rangers in the opening, 6 minutes or so?
Yes, it has been all Rangers for sure. Alloa are very, very deep, as we would expect. They've just got their distances wrong a couple of times, Alloa, which has led to potential opportunities for Rangers, especially down the left hand side, but nothing doing just yet.
Here's Mikey Moore in from Spurs. Bayrami now at the bar, he cuts it back. Danilo couldn't turn it goalwards, and it's round the post for a goal kick to Alloa. Your early thoughts, Tony Docherty?
I think that attack there is an example of how Rangers are going to get joy, because as Rory said there, it's a familiar pattern here. Rangers are dominating the ball, you know, and they're facing a packed defence, and they're going to find a way. That the width's been provided on one side by Mikey Moore, the other side by Cortez, but I think the runs of Bajrami and Dowell are going to be important to get down those half space areas and try and disrupt what looks like a really organised Alloa team.
They started the season brilliantly, you would have to say. Alloa, 4 wins from 4 in the League Cup group stage, beating both Dundee at home and also Airdrie away from home to top the group. And then the League One campaign has also started with 2 victories. Their only blemish, if you like, came on Tuesday against Stranraer in the Challenge Cup, and to be honest, it was effectively their second string side that was put out for that one, with this game presumably in mind. So the team come into this fresh and in good fettle. They have been on the back foot early doors. As,
the manager played on Tuesday.
He did,
Andy
yes,
Graham, 41 years old
yeah,
now.
and he's on the bench today in a playing capacity, although you wouldn't expect to see him come on.
I love a manager standing with the copas on, just ready.
Rangers have it at the back on the halfway line. It's Fernandez, brought in the summer, one of many summer signings, presumably more to come, as Aarons has it, right hand side, clips that one in towards the back post, and that should easily be the keeper's ball. Liam McFarlane on loan from Hearts gathers that one in and bowls it out on this right hand side, played forward there by Owen Foster, but given away to Rice, and Rice plays it forward to Danilo midway inside the Alloa half, back to Aarons, and out to the right hand side to Cortez, who's been left out of the Champions League squad for this playoff round, along with Jefte, who's not part of the squad today. And if you heard Russell Martin speaking beforehand, sounds like he is bound for the Ibrox exit door. Palmeiras reportedly have pretty much agreed a deal with him. So Jefte, after one season departing Rangers, leaves them without an orthodox left back, and here's Bailey Rice, who's playing in that position today. We'll see how he fares as Mikey Moore now picks up on the left hand side, comes infield. Dowell takes it off the toes of Aarons, clips it in, big chance here for the opening goal, and Mikey Moore just couldn't direct it on target, just couldn't decide, I think, which foot to take that with. In the end he did really neither, and it's behind harmlessly for a goal kick. 9 minutes in, Rangers 0, Alloa 0.
Yes indeed, I actually thought he should have went with his head. I thought it was at a good height just to try and direct it into the far corner. Lee McFarlane only had an opportunity just before as well to put his foot on the ball and let his team get up the pitch. He decided to give it straight to his fullback who gave it away. So
yeah, you know what it's like coming here. It's really important to get that balance right. They're going to be out of possession for long spells in the game, so when they do get an opportunity, and they have got good footballers, Alloa, they need to keep possession of the ball and try and work their way up the pitch. But there's a real familiar pattern coming in here, and I look forward to seeing young Mikey Moore, and I thought his movement there after his pass, the movement to try and get in behind was excellent, and that's something that Rangers are going to have to do.
Here's Rothwell trying to find the space, and a wonderful pass for Mikey Moore up to the edge of the box. Inside he comes now onto the right foot, trying to curl it goalwards, pushed away by McFarlane, helped further away. Comes to Bailey Rice, good stop that one from the keeper as Mikey Moore shows why Rangers wanted to bring him here. Bayrami also trying to step in off the left hand side, but he finds his path to goal blocked, and it's picked up by Foster, who clears up towards Luke Rankin, the lone striker, but it's going to be awful difficult for him to make the ball stick, and already Rangers have it back and looking for that opening goal. Hasn't come as yet, but it has been entirely Rangers on the front foot in these opening stages. And here's Fernandez midway inside that Alloa half, plays it short to Rothwell. He's quickly closed down and picked up by Rankin, but he gives it straight to Cortez at the edge of the box. Danilo now helps it back to Rothwell. 1-2 with Bayrami, out to Mikey Moore on the angle of the box, stains it to the back post. Cortez knocks it back. Dowell doesn't want to take that on his right foot, instead he plays it to Aarons. The crowd wanting them to shoot there, didn't fancy it on his weaker foot. Aarons still has it up to the edge of the box, runs into trouble, and it's nicked off him there at the edge of the box by Curtis Roberts, and Alloa can try and come upfield, but again Rangers have quickly won it back. Roberts has it once more though for Alloa. They need to be good in possession as Skugel wins the 50-50 there and then plays it back the way to Callum Waters. Over the halfway line he goes. Liam Kelly's come a long way. He might just have lost out there. He's done really well, but he had to. Otherwise, I mean, he was almost at the centre circle when he slid in there, and a little bit of good fortune there favouring the brave, and Rangers come forward once more by Rami on the left hand side. Just a slight mix-up almost between Kelly and his centre backs, but they get away with it as Giga picks up about 30 yards from goal, leaves it to Aarons, goes out to the right hand side to Cortez. Now it's Dowell right hand side of the penalty area, back the way to Cortez once more. Aarons and then Giga, everyone camped inside that Alloa defensive third. There's Fernandez out to the left hand side. Rangers need to keep moving the ball sharply to try and find a space. It's Mikey Moore, comes off the back of Stephen Buchanan there, falls kindly for Rothwell. Rothwell for Cortez. Space is very limited, little give and go there. Cortez though can't poke it to Bayrami, and Hetherington picks up for Alloa. Now it's Waters, and scooped forward, but again it'll be picked up by a Rangers player. It's Rothwell once more, looking for a way through, finds Bayrami at the edge of the box. He sends it out to Moore, angle of the box once more on the left hand side. Alloa doubling up against him. Bayrami, that's fabulous. There is the opening goal. You don't get much closer to the postage stamp than that one from Nedim Bayrami, who does have the opener here at Ibrox. 13 minutes in, it's Rangers 1, Alloa 0.
Yeah, Andy Graham will be disappointed, but you have to say it's a fantastic finish. They didn't get cut off on Alloa. It was Bayrami right on the angle, in step with the right foot, laser towards the top corner, a little bit of dip, little bit of curl, and Rangers, you have to say, deservedly 1-0 up.
It's a brilliant finish, and you see the game, it's a familiar pattern. The game really is getting played 40 yards from Alloa's goal. You know, Giga and Fernandez are two centre halves are 40 yards for the goal, and Rangers are trying to work that opening. And listen, if they're sitting deep that they're doing, and they have to do, Alloa, that's what you need to do. You need to take strikes at goal, and that was just outstanding, you know, and off the underside of the crossbar. Fantastic technique, and I think that might allow Rangers now to go and express themselves a bit more.
1-0 then after 13 minutes. Nedim Bayrami on his first start since Aberdeen at the end of last season, and Rangers have the goal that should settle any nerves, albeit you have to say they weren't showing any particular signs of nerves. Aarons has got a bit of defending to do there, does it well and gets it to Giga. Now it's Dowell crossing the halfway line as they look to capitalise on that early breakthrough, and it will also settle the home crowd, who certainly against Dundee were getting very restless at times. Now it's Aaron's right hand side. Alloa again getting just about everyone behind the ball, barring Luke Rankin. Here's Giga for Fernandez. Bailey Rice now, who will look to advance from that left back position whenever possible. A poor ball forward from Fernandez, straight into the gloves of Liam McFarlane. And it could be a long afternoon for Alloa, who actually have drawn on 3 of the last 4 visits to Ibrox in the Championship over a couple of seasons. The last one being April 2016, when James Tavernier was required to come up with an equaliser for an early Alloa goal. 1 apiece that one finished as Alloa try and come forward again. Liam Kelly comes out to stop the danger. The flag is up, but Alloa will try and play on the counter if possible. But if Rangers can find the rhythm, and they already look like they're quite quickly getting into that, Rory, it will be a difficult afternoon, you'd imagine, for the League One side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Joe Rodwell's pulling a few strings in there, and it's Tony quite right to say, is normally that number 6 position, you're in your own half and you're pinging balls around, whereas he's right on the edge of the Alloa box trying to find passes and unlock this Alloa defence. I mean, just before Rangers scored, Liam Kelly did get a little bit lucky, you have to say, because if he misses that one, it's an opportunity for Alloa. But out with that, Rangers have been really good so far.
Yeah, this is a Rangers side that's going to take chances at the back, that's for sure. And Liam Kelly did take one but got away with it. As Dowell has it now, midway inside the Alloa half. Danilo tries to just slip round the corner there, but he couldn't bring it under control at the same time. And it's through with Liam McFarlane in the Alloa goal. 1-0 Rangers, 16 minutes in here. Nedim Bayrami, who, Tony, you'll have seen at pretty close quarters at times last season. We've seen him in a Rangers jersey. He's clearly got quality about him. I suppose what he needs to find is a more consistent level of it to make himself a real first pick for Russell Martin.
Yeah, he's a really talented player. You see that from the finish, you know, a very, very technical player, but as you say, it's probably that, you know, that consistency that he's looking for. But I look at the, you know, the relationship between some of the players. Danilo comes short, he makes that run in behind, so he's a really intelligent footballer. But I see Russell instructing his players here. It's really important, I think, in this match that Mikey Moore and Cortez keep as much width to the game as they can, and it really means that, you know, Alloa are going into a back 6, so there's all these spaces that they've got to try and find, but they've got to try and disrupt that defensive organisation with good intricate play, and I think Bayrami will be key to that.
Giga on the ball right now, just inside the Alloa half. Pretty much every other Rangers player ahead of him. Out to Aarons, it goes on the right hand side. Comes back the way to Giga, who will be missing for the next league game after that red card against Dundee, and it will be St Mirren after Rangers withdrew their request to postpone that one despite having made it into the play-off round. Mikey Moore running the ball out of play there. 17.5 minutes in, Rangers in charge, a goal up thanks to Nedim Bayrami's wonderful finish a few minutes ago, and Alloa will need to try and play their way into this game, otherwise they're going to spend most of it where they are right now, inside their own penalty area. Out to the right hand side it goes to Taggart, and forward now for Foster.
Good play by Alloa, playing out from the back.
It's Hetherington playing it out to the left hand side. He's just sitting in front of the back 4 and trying to do what Joe Rodwell's doing for Rangers and keep possession, pick the passes, but it's easier said than done in that role for the visitors. Here he is once more, vastly experienced player, as I mentioned earlier. He played in all 4 meetings when they last met in the Championship back in 2015-2016. Came through actually at Ibrox as a youth player as well.
Just watching the way Alloa, they're playing out any goal kicks, they're playing out from the back, and I'm just watching Big Andy Graham there, who incidentally he was on a coaching course earlier on this year, and I was really impressed with him. I thought he was great, and his team have obviously had a fantastic start to the game. So there's definitely there's an identity there. They want to play out for the back, and when they get the opportunities to get forward, they've got another opportunity. They're in and goal.
They could well be in here. It's a brilliant first touch and a shot at goal for Liam Kelly to contend with, which from Stephen Buchanan, who stepped in. Amazing first touch to bring it out of the air, and then he hit it towards goal with his left foot. And although Liam Kelly's got the sun in his eyes, he actually dealt with it pretty well, and it remains 1-0 Rangers. But that just shows you that Rangers certainly can't afford to take their foot off the gas, because Alloa do have quality to try and punish them at times.
Yeah, he just looked a little bit uncomfortable on his left foot there, Buchanan. I think he was trying to manipulate it onto his right, because I thought he should have had it a little bit earlier with his left, but really good move from Alloa.
Here's by Rami, but he can't latch onto the pass from Moore, and so it's behind for another goal kick. Yeah, you mentioned Andy Graham. I have to say, I think the most worrying thing for Andy Graham that I've heard in the last couple of weeks is Chick Young was praising him on the radio. I mean,
that's a concern. That is a concern. But no, I've seen him at close quarters. He's very conscientious, good in the game, really good personality. And there does look like an identity of him with his team here. And as I say, they're looking at two big centre halves, Rangers and Fernandes and Giga. They're not playing it long because they know they'll win it, so they're trying to build it out from the back and through patterns of play get up the pitch, and they've done it in one or two occasions. The last one resulted in a shot. So brave, really brave for a team like Alloa to come and do that at Ibrox.
Here come Rangers though, looking to add to their advantage. It's Mikey Moore, the 18-year-old on loan from Spurs, from the left-hand side by Rami, was shot with his pass back to Moore, and it's cleared up towards the halfway line. Alloa just missed out on the playoff spots last season in League One, but maximum points early on as Bayrami picks up in the penalty. He just couldn't kill that with the first touch, and Alloa hack it clear, but it's going to come back at them here once more as Aarons picks up midway inside the visitors' half. Short ball from Rice to Rothwell. Now it's Aarons once more. Cortez makes a run. I think Aarons was trying to pick him out, and Dowell rather got in the way, or rather the ball was kind of hit straight at him. Couldn't really get out of the way, but Cortez might have been in behind otherwise. Here's Bailey Rice playing in that sort of inverted full-back role. As now it's Giga, clips that in, looking for Bayrami once more. It's headed half clear. Mikey Moore tries to pick up in a loose ball, but it's Foster who manages to beat him to it and then just knock it up towards the halfway line. Back will go Bailey Rice. Bailey Rice obviously still a teenager himself. I've seen come through and getting a few chances last season, certainly at Rangers. This is an interesting role he's been given this afternoon.
Yeah, he's very, very comfortable on the ball, as we've seen in the opening 21 minutes here. Takes the ball in well, but he looks forward as well. He's not happy just to go side to side. Mikey Moore playing just ahead of him, started well. Also, Foster struggled to deal with Moore's movement, and behind him and McTaggart, at times their distances are a wee bit too wide. Bajrami and Mikey Moore are having some success, but all in all, Alloa, despite being 1-0 down, I think will be encouraged by some of their play.
22 minutes in, 1-0 Rangers. Nadeem Bayrami with the goal, and Alloa have got themselves a free kick for a foul by Cortez over on the far side. All the way through though to Liam Kelly. Bit of a waste that one. Alloa will want to do better when they've got set pieces. As Fernandes plays it to Giga, who crosses the halfway line, tries to evade a couple of challenges. You can't get through the third, and Alloa can break here. 3-on-3 just momentarily. Held up there by Bailey Rice, although Rankin still has possession. Out to the right hand side now. It'll come. Alloa trying to make some headway. Curtis Roberts picks up. Now it's Foster.
Ah, well played.
Yeah, it's nice round the corner from Rankin, and now it's Buchanan. Buchanan's away there from Rice. Buchanan into the penalty area. Tries to be, that's a shot on goal. Rankin, can they force over it? Goal line? Yes, they can. Alloa have got an equaliser. Astonishing stuff at Ibrox. Very untidy in the Rangers penalty area. Pinball inside the 6-yard box as they tried to force it home, and eventually they managed to do so. Rangers couldn't get it clear, and as dominant as Rangers have been in these early stages, it is Rangers 1, Alloa 1.
I just don't understand what Giga's doing there, advancing with the ball into an area where it's a packed area in midfield, and he tries to run through 3 players, loses the ball, he's out of possession, he's out of position, and it's just a wee ball turned around. Great play by Alloa, fantastic, but they're down a centre back because he's run into the middle of the park, he's giving the ball away, he stays down injured, he's up now. And really a bizarre goal for Rangers to lose, but huge credit, really good attacking play, exploiting the gap that Rangers left there to Alloa to get themselves the goal. So well done, Alloa.
Yeah, it was. Listen, we've just touched on Bailey Rice, and you don't want to be too harsh on him. He's playing out of position, but that is the other side of the game where you need to be a left back. And it's a great run down the outside of him. I think it's, as you say, Tony, potentially a penalty if the goal doesn't go in. It looks like it may strike Rothwell's hand. But Giga, the worst thing about it is, as soon as he sees the goal going, he gets up and runs back. Get up. As soon as you go down, I don't know whether he was embarrassed that he gave the ball away, but he stays on the ground for so long, and he's clearly not that hurt that he needs to do that.
One apiece then. Alloa getting the goal back, having been on the back foot for so much of this game, and that'll be a concern for Russell Martin. That they are so vulnerable at times, Rangers. Taking chances at the back, lack of organisation.
And Alloa will be hugely encouraged by that. I just think watching Rangers, the ball speed's got to be quicker. I think they've got to move it quicker.
Here's Rothwell trying to find Moore, but it's cut out by Foster. And Alloa have won themselves a free kick. And Andy Graham makes his way back into his dugout. You'll be absolutely delighted by the character shown, because it would have been easy to capitulate having gone 1-0 behind so early on, but his side have continued to play the way Tony was describing, the way they want to play from the back, and when they do have a chance to pose that attacking threat, they put numbers forward, and eventually were able to bundle it home. And it's one apiece between Rangers and League One Alloa. Here come Alloa again, taking great heart from that opening goal, and it's an ambitious effort from distance from Curtis Roberts, and eventually slices it well wide of the target. I think the Alloa goal incidentally has been credited as a Joe Rothwell own goal. We'll continue to seek clarification of that. It was very difficult to see who it went in off, but early indications are that it's gone down, as I say, as a Rothwell own goal. It was great work, that's from Buchanan on the right hand side to get away from Bailey Rice.
It's great movement as well. We've praised Mikey Moore's movement. Buchanan's movement was really good. As soon as he went into ranking the striker, he flicked it round the corner. He was on his bike and he caught Rice cold at left back.
Other suggestions that it might be down as a Buchanan goal, but as I say, we will clarify that regardless of who scored. It is one each here at Ibrox, and that good feeling around Ibrox that the home fans were experiencing in those early exchanges, slightly dissipated now as Cortez though wins a free kick just outside the penalty area, right hand side. Russell Martin not entirely happy, you would imagine, with the way things are going now, having failed to take advantage of the early breakthrough, and the side finding themselves pegged back. Another chance here to
I think the happier manager also will be Andy Graham at this period of the game, because as you say, they went a goal down, you know, they stood firm, they took a wee bit of confidence from keeping possession a few occasions, worked their way up the pitch, and they've now got themselves back in the game, and certainly the body language from this, they look confident, but they're facing now a free kick in a dangerous area from Rangers. And again, I stress it, but I just think Rangers need to, the ball speed has to be quicker.
It's going to be Joe Rothwell to take this one. It's just back from the angle of the box on the right hand side, 5 yards or so, and Rangers have put Giga and Fernandez up for this one, looking to add their aerial ability to the threat here as Rothwell sends it in. Fernandez climbs and scores! It's a debut goal for Emmanuel Fernandez. It's a huge leap from the defender. Great delivery from Joe Rothwell, right on the money for Fernandez, and no one could live with him inside that penalty area as he headed high past Liam McFarlane to restore Rangers' advantage. Rangers 2, Alloa 1.
I've got to take the height he gets up there. I mean, it's a fantastic delivery, but he's way up above everybody and directs his header. That's a great goal from a set piece.
Yeah, it was a really good goal. I mentioned there's not a lot they could have done, Alloa, about the first goal from Bajrami. Now, managers hate conceding goals from set pieces because they're controllable. However, as you say, Tony, he's towering above everyone. He gets a run, he gets some height on the jump as well. So, although it is a set piece goal conceded, it's very difficult to stop, especially when the delivery is so good.
So Rangers went level again for long, but Alloa need to dig in once more and try and find a way through again. Not on this occasion, as Fernandez just sees that back to Liam Kelly. So a debut goal for Emmanuel Fernandez, signed in the summer from Peterborough. And here's Mikey Moore. Gets it to Bajrami, left hand side of the box. Danilo lets it run, and inadvertently Cortez is deflected wide. looked inevitably like it was going to be Rangers' third goal, but Danilo couldn't turn it in. It's just not happening for him in front of goal right now. And Cortez, from a very narrow angle, thought he'd found the back post, but the deflection took it wide for a corner. 2-1.
Yeah, really good move again from Rangers when they move the ball at pace, as Tony's touched on a number of times. Alloa can't live with them.
Corner from the left-hand side, a flick towards goal from Fernandes once more, and it's touched over the bar. That was very deft, you would have to say, from the big centre-back. Managed to flick it between his legs, and McFarlane taking no chances there, tipping it over the crossbar for another corner, which will be taken by Nedim Bayrami, scorer of the first goal. Sends it into the 6-yard box. McFarlane taking no chances. Good punch, well clear. Dowell will retrieve it and send it out to the right-hand side for Cortez. Dances away from one challenge on the left foot, tries to take the shot on, blocked by Waters. Headed back in towards the area, but cleared once more, this time by Foster. Rothwell picks up the edge of the centre circle and turns it back to Aarons. Rothwell again. Just caught there slightly late by Stephen Hetherington, who's going to get a talking to here. And Rothwell just gingerly picking himself up here.
That last attack that Rangers had, I was watching the patterns of play in the warm-up they were working on, and that was exactly it. They're moving the ball quickly. Bajrami getting into a really good pocket, feeding Mikey Moore, and then get down that half space, and the cross getting in and the opposite wide man being in. So that's much more like the type of play in terms of the patterns that Rangers have got to do.
Dowell swings it in from the right-hand side. Danilo trying to make something of it, can't bring it under control. Roberts brings it clear. In steps Bailey Rice though to win it back for Rangers in a central area, midway inside the Alloa half. Rothwell again picks his head up, plays it short to Fernandes, who looks like he's enjoying his debut here. Out to Moore, who would like to make an impact on his debut, and he wins his side a free kick, just kind of barged to the ground there as he tried to go past Owen Foster, and it's a free kick Rangers way, left-hand side of the penalty area.
I think he's slightly unlucky there, Foster. I think he reads what Moore's going to do. Probably is a free kick, but he's handled them well on one-on-one situations, Foster. Moore down the left-hand side. It's more when the movement's in behind and off the ball that he struggles ever so slightly, but he's slightly unfortunate to have conceded a free kick there.
Yeah, it must be difficult because Mikey Moore, the one thing I've picked up right away, he's so comfortable both sides. You know, he can go down the right, he can go down the left, and with their runs in advance of him from Bajrami, he's really opening up that area, and it's going to be difficult for the young fullback to contain Mikey Moore for 90 minutes of the game.
Kieran Dowell is over the free kick, left footer on the left-hand side as Rangers look to make another set-piece count here. Emmanuel Fernandes, towering defenders up there once more, along with Nasser Giga, who's not much shorter. Here's Dowell, swings it in, it's over. Fernandes comes all the way out to Rothwell, who rather scuffs his shot, takes a deflection, but I think off a Rangers player, and so the referee points for a goal kick. And so after 32 and a half minutes, it's Rangers 2, Alloa 1.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Dowell take that one. You know, Tony was pointing out the amount of space at the front post area there when Alloa were defending, and I think Joe Rothwell, after his last delivery, will get a bit of pace behind it, put it in that area, I'll nick off anyone. One of the big centre-halves getting on the end of it, straight in the net, so surprised they went with the outswinger there.
I agree with you there, Rory, that big space at the front. I think it was on him just to pass it in, somebody to run across. Alloa never had anybody in that front space, and it was really, really exposed, I thought. Fernandes looks quite a cool customer, doesn't he? A goal kick there, taking it down in his chest and just playing the pass.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good debut, although the Rangers defence as a whole didn't cover itself in glory at the Alloa goal, but it's looked good otherwise. Here's Moore, again Foster holding him up, knocking it out of play for a Rangers throw-in midway inside the Alloa half left-hand side to be taken by Bailey Rice. Here's Bayrami offering himself short, and he plays it back to Fernandes, square on the halfway line to Giga for Dowell, drifting over to the right-hand side, forward for Cortez, about 15 yards from the byline. Dowell goes on the overlap, comes inside instead to Max Aarons. He goes back the way to Giga and square for Fernandes once more. Midway inside the visitors' half, it's Emmanuel Fernandes, scorer of the second goal for Bailey Rice left-hand side. Mikey Moore wants it, but Rice comes back in field again to Fernandes, square to Giga. Forward, short ball, bounce pass to Rothwell and back to Giga once more. Aarons in field to Rothwell, he's got a bit more space this time. Can he pick a pass Bailey Rice now, out to Mikey Moore, left-hand side of the box. Infield to Bayrami, tries a little nutmegs, wriggles away from the challenge. Mikey Moore picks up again on the left-hand side. Again, it's very, very tight, difficult for Rangers to find the accuracy of pass to get through that back line. It's Giga out to the right-hand side for Cortez. Giga now in the right wing position, will try and fire this in near post, knocked away at the near post by Devine. And again, it's Rangers camping in Alloa's penalty area, almost certainly their defensive third. Generally that's been the way of it, beyond a rare break-up field for Alloa, and they're again defending their penalty area as Roswell picks up and sends it in. It's not the best cross though, and it's headed away. Fernandez wins it back for Rangers and plays it to Giga inside the centre circle, straight forward for Rodwell. Rodwell out to the left-hand side to Rice, into the feet there of Mikey Moore inside the penalty area, tries the early cross, that was blocked by Scott Taggart, and out for a throw-in on this near side. That's the kind of quick pass though, and it's the kind of pass that Bailey Rice can not only spot but execute, and that's where you have the advantage of playing such a player at left back. That's a good shot at goal from Giga, batted away there by McFarlane. He did well to ensure that stayed out, and he got plenty of distance on it to ensure there was no rebound on the follow-up for Rangers, and so 35 in, it's still Rangers 2, Alloa 1.
Yeah, it catches it well with the laces and it actually moves in the air. I can see it from where we're sitting right on the halfway line, about halfway up the stand. It moves, and the keeper does well in the end to punch it clear and get good distance on it as well.
Cortez, right-hand side, the angle of the box, back to Rodwell. Rangers would like another goal for their dominance here, as Cortez just needs to show better anticipation and more awareness of where the players around him are, because it was quite clear that he was going to be closed down there, but he just turned right into the challenge and conceded possession. But Rangers do have it back pretty quickly as Rodwell finds Cortez. Now it's out with Dowell, right-hand side. And it's Rodwell again in field for Fernandez. Russell Martin still very animated on the touchline as it comes out to Mikey Moore, left-hand side, out to the penalty area, stands up towards the back post. Rangers looking to get bodies in there, nodded away by Callum Waters and retrieved by Cortez, right-hand side. Now it's Aarons, 25 yards from goal, into Dowell at the angle of the box, spins and then clips it in. Danilo can't get it. He'd love a goal this afternoon.
They do that a lot though, Al, in terms of like the balls into the box to Danilo. He's not big, he's not dominant in the air, he doesn't score a lot of goals from that type of situation, so you know it's fine playing that type of ball when you've got Mikey Moore coming in at the back post and Bajrami coming in, but trying to find Danilo is never going to win those headers.
Here's Moore, little step over, gets to the byline, tries to cut it back, cut out by Taggart inside his own 6-yard box. Rangers knocking on the door for a third goal to give them a 2-goal cushion. 2-1 it stands right now. Fernandez and Giga getting themselves mixed up though at the back, and that's good vision from Roberts, and Kelly just backpedals. I think it was going to drift wide as he tried his luck from about 40 yards on this right hand side, but he knew Kelly was off his line. Audacious from Roberts, just doesn't quite come off.
Really good effort with Roberts, but that's the danger Rangers could fall into. They can, you know, that was, for me, that was sloppy, and I think Rangers' first pass every time has to be into a wide area. That's where all the space is, and then these runs like Bajrami's doing there down the sides, that's what disrupts effectively a back six there. But they need to make sure that first pass is wide and then play from there.
Yeah, I mean, everything going through the middle, there is always the risk of the break being on, as we saw there, but Curtis Roberts just on that occasion unable to get the correct elevation and accuracy on the shot from distance, as Max Aarons picks up, and Rangers try to come forward once more. It's Fernandez into the feet of Bayrami, and back with Fernandez once more. Everyone behind the ball for Alloa within 30 yards of their goal, as Dowell knocks it back to Fernandez, and now it's Giga out to the right hand side to Cortez, who's hugging the touchline. Just a slightly heavy touch, but he manages to poke it away from his marker, then gets the 1-2 from Dowell. Now at the byline, it's Oscar Cortez, tries to go around his man. It's good invention, but eventually he knocks it out of play as he tried to retrieve possession. And with 38 minutes on the clock at Ibrox, still Rangers 2, Alloa 1.
Yeah, I mean, watching Danilo as well, you do feel for him, because the spaces are so tight that he has to work in. But there, Bajrami and Cortez, they're standing right next to him, and you're almost looking for him to do. You know, Kyogo used to stand offside. If he stands in front of the three centre-backs, they can see him, they know where he is. He doesn't need to get involved in the play if there's players taking up the same position. need to find another way to try and get on the ball if you're Danilo, because he's not having much success at the moment.
21 games without a goal for the Brazilian. Back to the goal in the Old Firm game at the turn of the year. So
where he did actually score a headed goal from a typical type situation that I was talking about, but I just think if you're going to play the percentage game, he's not going to score many of those.
Here's Rice, midway inside the Alloa half, out to Mikey Moore, left-hand side, comes infield to Rothwell into the feet there of Danilo, then by Rami, good shot, saved by McFarlane, parried that one, and fortunately for him, it was an Alloa foot it fell to, and it's swept away to that far side, but picked up by Cortez as Rangers keep the pressure on. Aaron's now right-hand side, about 10 yards from the byline, back with Cortez, still right-hand side, into Dowell, and then back with Aarons. Again, Rangers trying to find a little gap in that Alloa back line. You'd expect Alloa, with the amount of off-the-ball work they're doing, to tire as the game goes on in the heat in the south side of Glasgow today, but they're coping with it so far. Just a goal down as things stand. 5 minutes till the interval. Dowell tries to play that for the run of Aarons, who's done well to keep it in, but across there goes Waters to nick the ball from him, but he's giving it straight back to Dowell, and Rangers will come again. Rothwell, midway inside the Alloa half, he'll get the pass off to Rice here. Rice comes forward to the left-hand side in the angle of the box. It's by Rami, already on the score sheet. The opening goal this afternoon, it's Rothwell. Might have had a crack at goal there, but instead he plays it to Aarons, who does go for goal and would have been better advised not to, given how far off target it ends up. 4 minutes left in the first half. Rangers 2, Alloa 1.
Just what you were saying, Rory, about Danilo, I think you're right. Danilo is a type of striker. He wants to take the ball at his feet, and I think he gets helped by, as I say, that first pass being into a wide area. If these running eights and Bajrami and Dowell make the runs down the side, then it takes midfield players back for Alloa, and it allows that ball into the striker's feet, and then it's what they do from that, whether it's round the corner to one of the Bajrami or Dowells, or whether it's him taking in and facing defenders. I think that's what they need to look to do, because that's definitely his strength, is getting the ball into his feet.
It's going to be a throw into Alloa, more or less on the halfway line, right-hand side. Roberts looking to take it quickly to try and get Rankin in behind, but Fernandez was already on the move in anticipation of that, and he has it down at the corner flag and just knocks it out of play. The assistant down there has signalled that it came off the Alloa player. I didn't see any touch there, but I think Alloa are completely bemused by that decision, and I have to say Andy Graham's down protesting to the fourth official for the same reason, no doubt, because Alloa had them kind of hemmed in just for a moment, but
baffling decision that out.
Anyway, here come Rangers on the right hand side. It's Cortez coming forward. It's just behind Dowell though, and Oscar Cortez continues to have something to prove. He really hasn't managed to hit his stride in a Rangers jersey, primarily because of a couple of bad injuries. But here come Alloa, and it's Foster in a very advanced area into the penalty area. He goes, has to check back the way though, as Rangers get numbers behind the ball. Danilo has only managed to force it to the right hand side. It's played in, it's almost a second equaliser, but for the save from Liam Kelly. Now the flag goes up, but Alloa almost in once more. On that occasion it was Buchanan who got the effort in on goal, and Kelly had to look smart to turn it away, albeit the flag eventually went up as well. Bailey Rice has got an issue, he's down and he's going to receive some treatment, but Alloa have shown in flashes they can be dangerous.
Again, the point you made earlier, Rory, about that kind of weakness that I think down that left back area for Rangers was really exposed there. I think Foster's done brilliant with his first run, and he slipped down the side and
should have been played even earlier. The fact it was still on after the first 3 touches speaks to how poor the defending was.
Yeah, and for me it's a great save, William Kelly, because it's a good cross, it's a really good connection, and he has to save that middle of the goal, or it's 2-2 going into half time.
I think we're going to get a change here. I think whatever is ailing Bailey Rice has already been signalled to the bench, is not going to allow him to continue, which is dreadful news for a young man who has had a bit of a disrupted time in the Rangers first team, and he's pulling his jersey over his face. He's so frustrated having got his first start, and James Tavernier is going to come on for Rangers, and you've got to feel there for a young Bailey Rice, who will want to take every opportunity he gets in that Rangers first team.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not his natural position. Just wait to see whether Aarons goes to left back, where Tavernier's going to go. Be interested to see what happens there. Looks like he's going to see out the half at left back. But yeah, very disappointing for Bailey Rice. I don't want to be too harsh on him, because on the ball he looks very good, but he's clearly a midfield player when it comes to Alloa attacking. You can see that. But I mean, Rangers have been dominant in the game, but albeit it was a shot for 40 yards, one of the Alloa chances, Alloa look dangerous every time they go forward, which isn't that often. But
here's Mikey Moore, gets away from the first challenge but just breaks away from him, and Alloa able to tidy up, and Foster tries to come forward down the right, but good work from Bayrami to win it back. And here is Tavernier in at left back, as Rory says. Just at the moment, might be that he and Aarons swap positions at half time. We've seen Aarons play left back at the start of the season. First 3 games he started there. Right back just at the moment, as Cortez has it on the right hand side, plays it into the near post, and it's headed behind for a Rangers corner. It was Callum Waters who got in the way of it, near post. 1 minute added on, we're into that right now. At the end of this first half, Rangers leading by 2-1. Dominant certainly in terms of possession and attacking play, but not always convincing at the back, and that is certainly how the Alloa goal came about, as Dowell prepares to take the corner kick from the right hand side. The in-swinger from the left foot here, right into the near post area. It's half cleared. Bayrami didn't quite catch it. Does get it on target on the volley, but it was a comfortable save in the end from Liam McFarlane, and he immediately hammers it forward, looking for Rankin. Aarons, it's almost a scorpion kick back to his goalkeeper. Well, if he meant that, it's sensational, but I'm going to say he didn't.
No, he's backpedaling and it hits off his calf when he's lifting his leg to run, and it literally looks like it's a wonder pass into Liam Kelly, but certainly didn't mean it.
No, and there's the half-time whistle, and Rangers going in front just by a goal. They dominated most of the first half, certainly the early stages, and got the reward for that when Nadeem Bayrami hit a sweet effort into the top corner from the edge of the penalty area. And it kind of looked at that stage as though Rangers would go on comfortably and add to their tally, but that wasn't to be the case. Buchanan had a good chance that Kelly saved, and then Buchanan was also involved after a bit of a mix-up between the two central defenders for Rangers, and the ball came in from the right hand side, ricocheted around the 6-yard box, and did end up in the back of the net, ultimately off Joe Roswell by the sounds of it, although it wasn't entirely clear from our position. But that was one apiece. Rangers, however, quickly hit back again to move in front, as Joe Roswell hit a free kick in from the right hand side, and there on his debut climbed Emmanuel Fernandez to head beyond Liam McFarlane and into the back of the net to make it 2-1. Giga had an effort from 30 yards, pushed away before Curtis Roberts at the other end tried to chip Liam Kelly from distance, just got his angle slightly wrong, and then Buchanan again had an effort that was well saved by Liam Kelly, albeit the flag had gone up. So Rangers in the lead, but Alloa by no means out of this. At half-time in the Premier Sports Cup, it is Rangers 2, Alloa 1.
The Scottish League Cup.
Live on Sports Sound.
Scottish football lives here.
On BBC Radio Scotland.
You're listening to Sports Sound with coverage of the Premier Sports Cup today. Earlier on, Morton 0, Aberdeen 3, Partick Thistle 2, Ayr United 0, Motherwell with a 1-0 victory after extra time away to St Johnstone, and it was really dramatic in a first commentary match in Paisley. St Mirren 1, Hearts 1 after 90 minutes, the same scoreline after extra time, and St Mirren winning the penalty shootout 5-4. A reminder, we will have the quarter-final draw for you when this game is concluded at Ibrox this evening. Rory Loy and Tony Docherty alongside Al Lamont there at Ibrox. Rory, in terms of Rangers, how would you assess the performance? I think the criticism is still there. They're giving up too many chances.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's been evident. Alloa, as much as they haven't went forward all that often, they've looked like scoring every time they went forward. And yes, that's down to some good play by Alloa, but Rangers look all over the shop at times defensively. Now, we could sit and talk about the low block and how Rangers struggle to break it down. It's nothing to do with that, Kenny. Nothing to do with that whatsoever. Rangers should be in a position just now where they're 2-0 up and they're managing this game really well and professionally. But, you know, Giga in the first instance that leads to the goal goes walkabouts, which clearly isn't part of the game plan. Russell Martin wants to pass through the thirds. And then at other times, you know, Liam Kelly's made a couple of strange decisions, and Fernandez at times as well has looked a little bit lax on the ball, albeit he's got away with a few things and played okay. So, you know, nothing to do with this low block struggling to break Alloa down. It's complacency at the back. It's mistake after mistake at times. And if it wasn't for Bajrami's wonder strike from the edge of the box, it could very easily be 1 each. So listen, I know people look at it and go, well, Alloa putting every man behind the ball, this, that. It's nothing to do with that, nothing whatsoever. It's taking your eye off the ball, losing concentration at the back, and inviting Alloa back into the game, because they should be 2-0 up and they should be comfortable, but they're not.
No, and it sounds like rinse and repeat. I was looking at his comments, Russell Martin, midweek after the European game. Decision making wasn't good enough, too loose with the ball, the goals conceded were down to outrageous defending, so there's clearly still an awful lot of work for him to do. In terms of Alloa, Tony, you spoke about, you know, the manager, and you've done a bit of work with him, you were impressed by his approach to the game, and he'll be really proud of his team's performance in that first half.
I think he'll be getting in from that first performance really proud of what he's played, the way they've played. You know, it did look early part of the game as an early pattern that Rangers were going to dominate possession, but it's important that you stay comfortable within that when you're out of possession. And I think even to illustrate from the goal kicks, you know, they're not just kicking it long, they're playing out from the back, they're trying to play through the thirds. They've been successful on a few occasions to do that. And as Rory said as well, you know, they've had three or four opportunities. You know, they've scored the goal, they've got an opportunity where Boy Roberts tries to chip Liam Kelly with Rangers losing possession, and then they get it's a brilliant save. Liam Kelly doesn't know that it's been flagged offside. There's a cross into the box, and really Alloa should score and make it 2-2. So I think Andy getting in there with his team, you know, they've managed, of course Rangers have been dominant, but they've managed to limit them to, you know, a shot from distance and a goal from a set play, and they've managed to look a threat themselves. So yeah, I think they'll be really pleased with that, and they'll take a lot from it. But the important message I would say to them, you know, is that when you're feeling good about yourself, when you went in against the Old Firm, you need to realise that the next 5-10 minutes of the second half are the most crucial stage. It's the most crucial stage of the game, because no doubt Russell Martin will be adjusting a few things. Rangers do look like a team that, you know, there's relationships they're building within the team. You know, some of them maybe first time they've played together, and they're trying to find out, you know, what each other like. But I would expect Rangers to come out in the second half and really the first 5 or 10 minutes assert their authority and try and win the tie in that first 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, still plenty to play for there. So full second half commentary to come, followed by the draw for the quarterfinals of the Premier Sports Cup. Earlier today, as I said, it was a nervy old day in Paisley. St Mirren going through 5-4 on penalties against Hearts. Let's now hear from the Saints boss Stephen Robinson. He's been speaking with Brian McLaughlin.
Stephen, many congratulations. What a way to win what was a dramatic cup tie.
Yeah, listen, if you're going to win it, that's the way to win it. We were very comfortable in the first half, should have been more up, but as you expect, Hearts with the signings and the people have got to come on, they had the most of the second half. I didn't think we played particularly well on the ball, but we defended really, really well when we needed. People trying to get through extra time were cramping from both sides, so listen, what a way to win. A wee bit of luck at last in the cup, and hopefully a decent draw.
You spoke about the press pre-match. That was spot on today, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, we pressed properly today, the way we always press. And, you know, Hearts have got millions of pounds beyond our wildest dreams, but we've got character, we've got quality. I've still not got, in my opinion, my best team on the pitch yet, as was shown probably in the second half. But, you know, overall, absolutely delighted with the character they've shown.
What a strike from Alex Gogic as well. That's normally see him at the other end of the pitch, but that was some strike. Yeah,
it was excellent. And then Gogo goes in and fills in midfield for me when Killian was really struggling through the second half. Mika and Jonah both had cramp, so it was down to the bare bones in the end. You know, new signings going on when probably not ready. But I can't ask any more in terms of application. And as I say, you need a little bit of luck to get through the cup, and we've maybe had that today.
What does this do for the belief within that squad? I know you've always been confident about this squad of players, but what will they take out of this, do you think?
I don't think there's ever a lack of belief. Sometimes we just don't play as well as we can do. Last week we didn't. First half we showed what we were about on the ball. We were excellent. We were a better team. And then second half, as we tired, we give the ball away. So as much as we won, there's lessons all along, and I believe we'll be better than what we were today.
You're going to have to be next week against Rangers when they come calling again.
Yeah, look, we look forward to it. Again, we respect them, but certainly not fear them. I say that with everybody. We don't change what we do. We just have to be better at what we do.
And you're into the last 8 now, the draws later on. A home tie against anyone?
A home tie would be great, yeah, of course. Let's see what happens. Yeah, a home tie would be great.
Thanks, Stephen. Well done.
Cheers, Brian. Thank you.
Delighted Stephen Robinson there. Let's now hear from the Hearts manager, Derek McInnes. He also chatted with Brian.
Derek wasn't to be today. What do you think went wrong? First half performance?
Yeah, but we turned that round. We've got to admit that I thought St Mirren came out the traps better than us. I thought they were first to every ball. I thought they were brighter. Just when we thought we'd kind of contained it and we were kind of going toe to toe with them a wee bit, we lose a really poor goal set play. I mean, blind man can see what they're trying to do. Try to get a wee block on the back man there, and then Declan Joint to put the ball in. We even got an opportunity, and the referee delayed it to take them to be more aware of it. It's just wet behind the ears. It's, so disappointed with that goal, but I thought we were a better team second half. I thought the changes helped us. I thought we were a better team through extra time. We deservedly got a goal. I thought we looked more likely to win the game than St Mirren throughout that. But you have to say, we've not lost the game because St Mirren have scored all our penalties. I've said that to the players as well. We've lost the game because we've not took advantage of that being in control of the game. We've got to find more. Got to find it within ourselves. Somebody to make that extra run, first contact. The confidence to go and take people on more and just to try and force the game a wee bit. And I just thought we while we were in control of the game, and it was nice, and it was and obviously we're some other good team. They finished in the top 6 for a reason. I just felt as though at that stage, when the game's in the balance and we're on the cusp of going on to penalties, that we just needed to do more, and we never done it. I don't think we accepted going to penalties, and I think that'd be wrong. I think that's too far. But at the same token, we didn't do enough to win it in extra time. In saying that, I thought we were a better team, but when you've got that control, particularly at home, you've got to go and have more concerted pressure, make better decisions, have more courage, and that's the kind of Hearts team we're looking for. But listen, it was a disappointing day. The support was magnificent, stayed with the team, and I don't think we were quite set up right in the first half. I don't think we were good enough in that opening half an hour. But just as we were starting to get into it again, we lose the goal, I felt, and we had it all to do. So a bit like last week, we've had to come from behind. And unlike last week, we never found a way to win the game. Whereas today, we've been punished on penalty kicks, which is always particularly painful. And congratulate St Mirren, they've won a tie. It was always going to be a tight tie. We felt it was going to be, and we have not done enough to win it.
Derek McInnes there, so St Mirren will take their place in this evening's quarter-final draw. Motherwell will join them there after a 1-0 extra-time victory over St Johnstone. Let's now hear from the Motherwell manager Jens Bertel Askew. He's been speaking with Tyrone Smith.
Jens, congratulations on a hard-earned but a deserved win.
Yeah, you need to score more goals than the opposition to earn the win, and we did that at the end. One of the last messages I gave the players before we went out is that don't expect goals to come easy. Sometimes you have to work really hard, sometimes you have to miss a lot of chances or opportunities or crosses to get there, and it's about never giving up and keeping the focus and the patience, and I think we were excellent at that. And then obviously I think big credit to St Johnstone. I think they played a very good game, made it really, really difficult for us to win. We had to use every calorie in the body to get there, which is exactly what some of our players need, because we haven't dared to push them that far over the limit in the pre-season, because we've had a thin squad with many games, midweek games as well, so we'd have to get them through and able to train and perform again 3 days later. So it was excellent we got a game like this where we were pushed to the limit, and I think the boys did fantastic. I think at times we played some wonderful football. Everyone can see that we are still trying to improve the final product on the final third, but it's also players who, the players on the pitch who has to do that are players who have maybe not played that much regular football in a while, and we're getting them all together in a new team, and we're trying to get them fully fit and sharp, and I think it's just getting better every week, but still a lot of room for improvement. But yeah, a lot of positive things to take from the game today. 1,500 supporters here to help us push. Amazing. It felt at times as if we were at Fir Park. And then 2 new players on the pitch. Isapa came on. Obviously, the business will benefit him. He looked tired at the end, but you can see he's a handful, and when he gets fitter, that he will be an even bigger handful. And then Sander, one of our own young players, to get him on the pitch for his debut. a lot of positives to take.
Jens Bertel Askew there, well done to Motherwell. So the second half about to get underway at Ibrox. Rory, Russell Martin made 10 changes to his starting lineup. Who's impressed in the Rangers jersey tonight?
It's difficult to say. Fernandes looks good in what I'd imagine will be both boxes. He's not had to defend overly much, but I mean his goal was dominant. I mean, big lad, attacked the ball well. I think he looks like a good find. However, what I would say is he looks a little bit lazy at times on the ball in terms of his passing. He looks a bit too relaxed at times. Yes, I know they've got a lot of the ball, but you need to move the ball quicker. But I think he's got potential from what I've seen in the first 45 minutes, although it is very difficult to gauge when they're so dominant on the ball. Mikey Moore's movement looks good, I have to say. He looks good off the ball at times, very direct, and he's linked up with Bajrami well at times in there as well. But you know, out with that, but Bajrami's goal was outstanding. Out with that, I don't think there's been any real standouts to coming in at half time. But what I will say is they should be 2-0 up, they should be comfortable, and thanks to that kind of lackadaisicalness, they're not, Kenny.
And that's absolutely the point, isn't it, Tony? Andy Graham's message in that dressing room has got to be, look, we're going to get more chances here. Rangers give up chances, stay in the game, you never know what could happen.
Yeah, I think, but to go back to the point there about Rangers and the point I was making there about developing relationships on the pitch, one thing I would be really encouraged by watching Rangers, anything positives come down their left hand side, and there does seem to be a really good relationship between Bajrami and Mikey Moore. You know, anytime there's that switch of play, Bajrami's making the right runs from allowing him to come into the field and attack defenders, and that's something that would be encouraging for me, you know. But yeah, you're right to say that. You know, Alloa have got themselves in a position going in at half time where they've weathered the initial storm, they've got themselves back in the game, and it's so important that they keep their focus for the first 5 to 10 minutes, keep the score at 2-1, and as you say, stay in the game best you can, and you might get an opportunity from a set play or a transition where you pick up possession and Rangers are opened up, so they'll see that as an opportunity. But you know, it's game on at the start of the second half.
Absolutely, and fair play to the Alloa fans there. Glorious night at Ibrox, have travelled down in decent numbers. A reminder, we'll have the quarter-final draw for the League Cup as soon as this game is finished. Rangers against Alloa with Rory Lloyd, Tony Docherty and Alistair Lamont.
As again, Kenny, both sides back out, no changes at half-time that I can see, and so Rangers will get us back on the way, going from left to right in this second half as the sun begins to disappear from the pitch, most of it bathed in shadow now. A very pleasant evening here in the south side of Glasgow as the final League Cup tie of the day. A couple more to come tomorrow. Begins once more in this second half. We'll have live coverage of Livy Hibs tomorrow, and both of those, as well as Killian Dundee United looking to join Celtic, Aberdeen, Thistle, St Mirren, and will it be Rangers or Alloa into the quarter-final? The draw immediately follows this game. We'll bring you news of that very quickly post-match as Rangers look to ensure that they are part of that draw. Come forward through Cortez down the right-hand side. Dowell looks to try and flip it back out to him. Cortez does well to ensure it does reach him. Aarons again has started in the right-back position, just continuing in that role with Tavernier having come on at left-back, and that's where he's begun the second half, albeit in that pretty central inverted role that Russell Martin seems quite keen on. Here's Cortez, right-hand side, trying to evade his marker. Comes back the way of an Alloa player to Rothwell. Now it's Tavernier in a central position. It's Aarons once more into the penalty area for Dowell. Just pokes it out to the right-hand side for Cortez. Aarons once more, back for Rothwell. Short ball into Dowell at the edge of the box, tries to squeeze it through for Bajrami. Now it's Danilo, just too intricate in the end, and it doesn't come off. And maybe just the shot could have come in from either Bajrami or Danilo rather than try and play the extra pass, but Rangers have it back quickly, and it's Giga coming forward midway inside the Alloa half. Plays it square to Fernandes, who got that debut goal to put Rangers 2-1 in front, and now it's Mikey Moore back in field to Tavernier, who's scored in 3 of his last 4 appearances against Alloa. A little flick from Dowell, and then Danilo sends it just wide of the goal. Again, it just won't quite happen. for the Brazilian striker a couple of minutes into the second half, just off target. Rangers 2, Alloa 1.
Yeah, it's actually really well worked. Kieran Dowell goes in and acting as a strike partner almost, and takes the ball and he flicks it round the corner to Danilo, and that is a chance on his right foot. Good first touch, bend it in the far corner. He doesn't quite catch it. Maybe a mark of where his confidence is at the moment, but that's a good chance for him.
Goal kick to Alloa. Liam McFarlane with the sun in his eyes now. He'll take that goal kick. Over the halfway line it goes. Rothwell goes up, comes off the top of his head, and in steps Giga. He gets it over the halfway line. As back goes Hetherington. Hetherington through the legs, I think, of Dowell, and Alloa come forward down the left-hand side. Orsi tries to make up some ground, but first to it was Giga, and then Aarons gets it infield for Rothwell. Just at the edge of his own box, turns away from Rankin, and then up towards the halfway line, plays it forward for Dowell. Dowell now advancing, helps it on to Cortez. Cortez inside the area. Again, Danilo just can't quite make the connection he needed. Could only have been inches away from it. As Russell Martin kind of shakes his head ruefully, and I'm sure Danilo does something similar. It wasn't far away. As Cortez put in a pretty decent ball, it looked to me.
And as expected, Rangers have started the second half really well. You know, that you can see it's interesting for me. I was talking about those relationships where he's kept Tavernier on the left side, and he's obviously wanting to work on, Russell's wanting to work on a relationship between Aarons and Cortez. But where Dowell picks the ball up there, that's an important position for me. That wee pocket in front of the back four, which allows him to play wider and them to advance. And I thought Danilo's movement there to go on end of the cross was excellent, and you can see these relationships just building when Rangers get that dominance. There's a run down the side again.
Mikey picks up. Yeah. Back to Fernandes and now Giga, and then to Rothwell. Everyone again behind the ball for Alloa as they look to ensure they remain in the game for as long as possible. Cortez at the angle of the box, back to Rothwell. First time ball clipped to the back post. It's going to come all the way for Mikey Moore, over almost in the corner flag area, left hand side. Steps away from his marker, comes in towards the box, low ball in, cleared away by David Devine, and Rangers pick up possession once more. Possession stats will be massively in their favour as Rothwell looks for Danilo on the stretch. Alloa get it clear, half clear at least. Tavernier tries to keep the pressure on though. Here's Moore on the left hand side trying to get away from Hetherington. Across comes his teammate Scott Taggart to help him out, and he just blasts it into the Sandy Jarden stand over on the far side. It's quickly taken through it. Rothwell now, poor pass though. I think he was looking for Danilo, it didn't come off, but again Alloa give it away very cheaply. It's Aarons picking up. Rangers' third goal looks like it's in the offing as Cortez has it, right hand side, fires it in low, comes off Aarons. Don't think that was the intended target, and Alloa can try and get themselves out of their own penalty area here. It's Taggart clipping it down the right hand side, flicked on but picked up by Fernandes. So difficult for Alloa to get out.
It is so difficult. I think Cortez needs to do more at times, especially in 1v1 situations. You know, Aarons has made a few good runs. It's pulled the left centre-back McTaggart away, and he's left one-on-one with Waters. 9 times out of 10 his input is 4 step-overs, and his output's a backwards pass. You just want to see him being a little bit more positive. Go and take your full-back on, go and get a ball in the box. I know he had one just previously there, but you want to see that more often for him. He's trying to get in this team.
Yeah, here's Giga for Aarons, and now it is Cortez right-hand side, trying to find a bit of room for the cross. Instead he goes back to Aarons, who pokes it back to Rothwell. Now it's Tavernier 1-2 with Bayrami at the edge of the box, tries to help it out to the left hand side. The pass doesn't reach its intended target, which is Mikey Moore, and Alloa can try and come forward down the right hand side, and they've got themselves a free kick. Fernandes penalised, that looked to be a relatively cheap one given away. I'm not sure there was all that much in it, but the referee certainly bought it, and Buchanan earning his side a free kick, and on the halfway line he just manages to get them that little bit up the park, Tony, and they're able to get a little bit of a breather as well.
Yeah, you need to take confidence from possession, and if they make a few passes now, Alloa, as they're doing along the back, just keep the ball for a wee bit. Again, they'll grow in confidence, and they can try, and that's what they can't do. They can't give the ball away.
Yeah, Orsi giving it straight to Cortez. Now Dowell back to Rothwell.
But a think what you've seen now with it, I think the most influential player since half-time has been Tavernier. He's such an intelligent player, and when he picks up those inverted areas, he's playing like almost like an inside left, you know, as is Aarons in that area, but a lot of the plays going through Tavernier, and he's managing to get balls into strikers.
Cortez looking to lift that forward for Bayrami, and it just goes all the way through to Liam McFarlane instead.
It's really, really poor that. He's got so much time, and I don't know why he tries to lift it. It frustrated his manager, I can tell you that.
Yeah, it did. He was unhappy with that. Just to give you a prior warning, there is going to be a split of our frequencies coming up for the 7 o'clock news and beyond that. So if you want to listen to the football beyond 7 o'clock, and hopefully you do, it's either Radio Scotland Extra you need to be tuned into, or 810 medium wave. And you can also follow us on the BBC Sports Scotland website. If you're on 92 to 95 FM, you're going to hear the news and then take the floor with Gary Innes. Better off catching that on sounds later on. Stick with us for the duration of this one, if you would. I'll give you another shout just to remind you to retune if you need to, as 7 o'clock approaches. Here come Rangers approaching the edge of the penalty area once more. It's Tavernier clipping out to the right hand side to Aarons. Now it's Cortez making a good run, fires it across goal, and again the finishing touch from Danilo is lacking from about 7 or 8 yards out. Good ball that time from Cortez, and Danilo just couldn't find the finish he required, and it's still after 53 minutes, Rangers 2, Alloa 1.
And I think that's what you're talking about. You look for Rory, for him getting down to the side there and an early cross, and that's exactly what Danilo as a striker, he wants to get on the end of those type of crosses. Again, Tavernier for me hugely influential. He's coming into the middle of the pitch, he's getting switches of play, he's playing things into strikers.
Rangers have it left hand side. Fernandez back to Giga. Now it's Rothwell to Aarons, midway inside the Alloa half. Forward comes Giga as well. Plays it square to Fernandez. Rangers get 10 men within 40 yards, maybe less, of the Alloa goal, looking to try and find a third goal here. It's Tavernier, takes it on from distance. That's a good, not only a good save, but a good hold from Liam McFarlane, because again he's still got the sun in his eyes. That would have been putting him off, but he held on to that well from Tavernier, who caught the shot pretty well. But McFarlane keeps it out, and it's still Rangers 2, Alloa 1, as they try and come forward. The visitors down the right hand side, but across steps Fernandez and stops Curtis Roberts in his tracks. Again, there's a slightly slack pass there from Fernandez, albeit it ends at the feet of Rothwell, who wasn't sure of the target. Alloa a little bit stretched here as Mikey Moore picks up inside the penalty area, comes back in field, little cute chip, doesn't quite come off for a teammate, and Alloa win possession once more. But just for a moment, as Alloa had committed a few bodies forward, Rangers themselves countered, and that's when actually Alloa begin to look vulnerable, because when they're in their shape, they're very difficult to break down.
I think you're right, Alex, exactly that. And it was good play from Roberts, but as you say, they came out and their distances were bigger, and Rangers managed to exploit that, and they should do better. Mikey, the final pass there should be better to get Rangers in.
Here's Aarons. That split in frequencies I mentioned is coming up very shortly, so I would suggest you just retune to 810 medium wave or Radio Scotland Extra now, so you don't miss anything, as Cortez wins the side a corner. So corner to Rangers right hand side, to be taken by Kieran Dowell. Dowell will send this corner in from the right hand side, and it comes for Rangers. The back post ball is one at the back post, wide of goal. So the choice of listening now on Radio Scotland. For the rest of our commentary, stick with us on Radio Scotland Extra and 810 medium wave, or the BBC Sports Scotland website on 92 95 FM. It's Take the Floor with Gary Innes. It's coming up shortly after the Radio Scotland 7 o'clock news. Are you still with us? Good to hear. Well, it's still Rangers 2, Alloa 1, and Rangers with a chance of a corner there, but the header went wide, and so still the half-time scoreline persists as Rangers continue to press for a third goal that would presumably take the game beyond Alloa, but thus far Alloa have been resolute at the back, really limiting Rangers to very few clear-cut opportunities as Cortez plays it back to Aarons here at the edge of the box. Now it's Dowell, right hand side, just tries to slip it in, doesn't quite come off, and Alloa nick it and try and play out, but Rothwell's stolen it, and now it's Moore out to the left hand side for Bayrami into the feet of Danilo at the edge of the box, back to Tavernier. Tavernier now finds Dowell 25 yards from goal, gets turned. Aarons out to the right hand side to Cortez, just supposed to dash to keep that one in. He's managed to do so. Back with Aarons again, and now back with Nasser Giga. Rothwell once more takes over. Dowell tries the early ball, no runners though for that, and Russell Martin again just kind of flaps his arms. And you know, Rangers trying all these intricate passes, Rory, it's really not just happening for them at the edge of the box.
Yeah, I don't think he meant to lift that, to be fair. He's done that a couple of times, Dowell, on the edge of the box, when he's come into him and he's spun a ball round the corner into Danilo, and either he's got it back or that's what led to Danilo's chance earlier in the match. So I don't think he actually meant to lift it there. Good movement again from Rangers. Speed of the pass is slightly better, but Alloa are resolute. You know, other than that save from Tavernier, from McFarlane, they've looked particularly like conceding a third, despite Rangers' dominance.
Double change for the visitors as Luke Rankin and Calvin Orsi depart, and Connor Salmon, the veteran striker, comes on for his 175th Alloa appearance, along with Cammy O'Donnell, to just give them fresh legs in there, because the work they are doing defensively cannot be overstated. Very, very tiring against a team that are trying to move the ball as much as Rangers are, but Alloa have stuck to their task thus far and trail by just one, and therefore remain very much in the contest as Rothwell picks up in the middle of the park, plays it short to Aarons and then gets it back midway inside the Alloa half, out to the left hand side for Moore. I think the Rangers fans will be keen to see Asgar make his debut pretty soon. Tavernier makes a run forward, can't bring it under control.
Good defending.
And yeah, it was good defending, but Russell Martin, you would imagine, be looking for more from his side in a creative sense.
Yeah, I think when it's packed, that defence there, your intricate play there really has to be spot on, you know, in terms of your one-touch play around the corners, and it's just something that they need to get that wee bit sharper at.
Here's Danilo picking up possession, out to the right-hand side for Aarons, comes up to the edge of the box. Cortez is inside the area, here he is, plays it back to the angle of the box for Aarons again. Rothwell again tries to stand up to the back post, comes off Danilo's shoulder, and then it's a volley coming in at the back post from Bayrami, and it's wide of target in the end. Couldn't add to his opening strike, and as the hour mark approaches, still just Rangers 2, Alloa 1.
It's a little section of the Rangers support that's getting all the sunshine, and every single one of them have got their top off, Al.
Yeah, I think they would have their top off regardless of whether we're getting the sun or not, that lot, but yeah, it remains pretty close, pretty humid here as Russell Martin looks to his bench, and I think he's definitely thinking about a change or two coming up. And Delo Asgar, who arrived from Luton in the summer and have yet to see him kick a competitive ball for Rangers, might be among those he's thinking of, because he is the creative type, maybe the player who can come on and find the spaces that Rangers haven't quite been able to exploit thus far, or create for that matter. Half an hour to play, Rangers leading by 2-1 in this League Cup tie at Ibrox. League One, Alloa giving a good account of themselves for sure, as Rangers have it at the back through Nasser Giga. He gets it back from Rothwell, and now it's Rothwell once more. Seen plenty of the ball today. Former Bournemouth man tries the long diagonal, just too much on it for Mikey Moore, who's been lively in flashes, but he'll not be overly used to, I don't imagine, playing against such a compact defence, because I guess for the most part when you play down in England, it tend to be a bit more open. Sides wouldn't camp as much as Alloa are. Is that fair?
Yeah, I would say so. I watched them at Tynecastle last year in a friendly against Hearts for Tottenham, and in the first half it was the main kind of Tottenham first team that played, or most of them, and they went through the motions a wee bit, and then the youngsters come on in the second half, and Mikey Moore was exceptional, and Hearts were pretty compact that day, but he was really, really good. But what Tony thinks, but he's kind of fallen out of the game in the second half.
A wee bit down that left side. I was really impressed with him and Bajrami's relationship in the first half, but that's when you get used to playing in this stadium, that teams will come and they'll sit in and that. But I've seen him, he's a really, really talented player in it, and he's very direct. So again, it's about those relationships and getting used to playing at this stadium and knowing the demands of playing in this team here. But he's certainly got the tools, to face up people, make runs down the side, get deliveries in the box, and I think he's a good player and a good acquisition.
Yeah, he signed a new long-term contract at Spurs just as he turned 18 last week. And I know the Rangers fans are certainly keen to see him in action, as they have done this afternoon, as Joe Rodwell now picks up possession. Rangers looking for a way through this well-organised defence, not this time, as David Devine knocks it long. Liam Kelly comes to the edge of his box and manages to scoop it away from Connor Salmon, and now brought under control by Fernandez, who asks players to move either side of him, and Giga obliges, and then he finds Dowell now through for Bayrami. A bit of space now for Bayrami to the edge of the box, tries a little shuffle, shots pushed away, must be for Cortez, he can't put it on target. It's great defending, you would have to say, by the substitute Cammy O'Donnell, who just did enough to put him off. But he should still be scoring there, Oscar Cortez.
Brilliant defending. That's a ball. It's a 50-50, and Cortez is, I think, probably 60-40. He's got the advantage of just tapping into an empty net, and the defending there is outstanding. He puts it out for a corner, and he keeps his team in the game.
Yeah, you touched on it earlier, Al. Connor Salmon looks like he may got on the end of something, and a couple of the midfielders of Alloa follow him up, Scoogle included, and it just opens up that space, and Dowell picks up the pocket. Tony mentioned that earlier.
There is a VAR check here for a possible penalty for that challenge by O'Donnell, as he denied Oscar Cortez what looked like a tap-in, and it looked to us from our vantage point that he did brilliantly to get back and just put him off sufficiently and help divert the ball wide of target. But perhaps VAR, with the benefit of replays, are seeing something we didn't. Craig Aitken is the man looking at that in the VAR studio. We await the decision here. That's actually for a handball, presumably by O'Donnell as he went back there. We don't have
he's pointing at the inside of his thigh, O'Donnell, to the referee from quite a distance, so whether he's telling the truth or not.
Well, that's a different matter, isn't it? But checks are still being made.
I think it would be really harsh. As soon as you see it, you think he's made a brilliant defensive challenge.
The Rangers needed a penalty in the dying moments of the Dundee game to earn themselves a point last weekend. The referee's going to come and have a look at this. So there's clearly a decision to be made here. And cross comes Dan McFarlane to the VAR box. This could be bad news for Andy Graham and Alloa if indeed there has been a handball infringement and the referee decides it's a punishable one. We haven't, as I say, had a replay of it here at Ibrox, but
what may work against Alloa is it's a guaranteed goal. So if it does hit him in the arm or the hand somewhere, then you worry for Alloa.
What is going to happen here is that both Hamza Igman and Telo Asgar are going to come on. Asgar for a debut. Actually, Connor Barron also getting some instructions, so a triple change as the referee says yes, it's a penalty. And what looked to be a brilliant goal-saving challenge from Cammy O'Donnell actually turns out to be a punishable handball, and just to cap it off, a yellow card. O'Donnell himself is beside himself. He can't believe the decision, and unfortunately for him, James Tavernier is going to have the chance to score a third goal of the season already.
If I was Danilo right now, I'd be going up to Tavernier and saying, look, I know you're the pet, can I take this one? At least ask the question. Let me take it, let me go on the score sheet, let's get a goal on my name.
Yeah, because the likelihood is going to be replaced by Egeman here, exactly. I would imagine. But Tavernier is the man who is stepping up to put Rangers 2 goals clear here at Ibrox. 66 minutes played as Tavernier begins his run up, and it's in off the post. Keeper went the right way, but Tavernier finds the back of the net yet again from the penalty spot. It feels harsh perhaps on Alloa for the amount of endeavour they have put into this game, and perhaps the decision itself we can't really tell without the aid of a replay, but the fact remains it is Rangers 3, Alloa 1.
Kisses the inside of the post, really good penalty, no keeper saving that. Alloa unfortunate to find themselves 3-1 down, but the referee obviously sees enough in it to award the penalty as the triple change is going to be made now. But as I said, if I was Danilo, you might get told no, beat it. Got to go and ask the question, let me take it, let me get on the score sheet.
Yeah, we don't get the benefit of seeing that replay there, but I just feel, you know, it was such an honest challenge, you know, but obviously they've seen something bad, you've got to trust the process, but again, so reliable to Ernie in terms of penalties, you know, and I think he's been really influential in the second half. I think he's one of the ones who stepped into a position in the pitch and he's influenced the game by getting on it and, you know, playing in an area where he's probing and constantly playing the balls into, particularly where Danilo wanted them, and switches of play. So, you know, he earns that goal from the penalty kick.
Mikey Moore is a player to be replaced by Tello Asgar. So two debutants, one replacing the other, and no doubt there'll be more from Mikey Moore in a Rangers jersey. Joe Rodwell and Danilo also making way. Barron, Asgar and Igman, the players coming on as Rangers 3-1 up, and will now go and look for further goals, but Danilo's goal drought does continue. That's now 22 games without a goal, and Rory, I guess as a former striker yourself, that when you're in that run, it must just get more and more difficult because your confidence must drain, and so on.
Listen, I would like to make the joke right now that it didn't happen to me, but it did on a few occasions, Al. And that's what I'm saying, you know, by hook or by crook. I went through a Barron spell, and you know, I remember you know, my fellow striker Kane Hemmings hit a shot against Ross County. It hit off my head. I wasn't even looking, and it went in the net, and that was the start of it for me. So, as I said, if I was Danilo, at least ask the question, at least show willingness to say, do you know what, give me the penalty.
Fernandez almost getting himself in trouble there on that far side against Buchanan, but he managed to just prod the ball away from him as Barron gets on the ball for the first time, and then finds Asgar, who's taken up a position on the left hand side to begin with, and his first involvement is to play a poor pass forward, which also caught by Rami offside. So not the immediate impact that he was looking to make, but certainly a player who comes with a pretty decent sized reputation and pretty big expectations, and Rangers fans just be happy to see him fit and involved in the first team with the Champions League playoff round looming. And here he is, that's a better touch on the ball left hand side, just inside his own half. Back he goes to Giga, onto the halfway line for Aarons. Rangers should be able to relax somewhat now, try and maybe find some gaps as Alloa tire as well. Eagleman will be keen to make an impression. Interesting to see if he's still a Rangers player come the end of the transfer window. There'll be so much speculation about his future as Salmon tries to make life difficult for Giga. In the end it stays with Barron. Would you, in terms of the likes of Eagleman's development, I know Rangers want to sell players on for more than they brought them in, but in terms of Eagleman, you would think he's got more to offer as a Rangers player, and then potentially make a move, Tony?
Yeah, well, he's a really talented player, you know, and I think a great strike corner, but yeah, I think he's a really talented player, and yeah, he's one of the ones that I think he'll improve. Again, I say it's about relationships. An interesting change. Bajrami's went wide left, and Asgar's playing in that running 8 role at the moment, and certainly he looks like a real physical, you know, real strong looking player. Conor Barnes came into the middle of the pitch here and he's injected a wee bit of energy, a wee bit of pace.
Man from distance, wide a goal on that occasion from the Moroccan. Scored a few spectacular goals last season as he began to endear himself to the Rangers fans. Just under 34,000 inside Ibrox for this one, as their side lead by 3-1. The Alloa fans over in that far corner, they've travelled in good numbers, filling out that away section, but the team, although they've played well for the most part, they are struggling now, you would imagine, to get anything from the game. A couple of goals required to force extra time as Barron picks up. He just did an effort from 25 yards a couple of minutes ago, struck it well on the left foot, but keeper got down to save it, as here comes Eagleman inside the penalty area, working hard to try and keep it. Rangers try and force over the goal line. It was Dowell who had his shot repelled, and then in the follow-up Tavernier sends it wide. And Alloa working hard to keep the deficit down.
Yeah, and I think what Rangers were really pleased, every one of the substitutes coming on has made an impact. I think wee Conor Barron's really injected some drive into and energy into the middle of the pitch. I think Asgard, as I say, he's just had a few touches of the ball, and he's really impressed me. And Eagleman through that middle way looks a goal threat.
I have to say as well, I was quite critical of Cortez the first 10-15 minutes of this half, but he's been very good in the last 10 minutes.
Here's O'Donnell, who'll be keen to make up for giving that penalty away, albeit he certainly felt it was harsh. Here he is once more, left hand side, closed down by Aarons. Back the way it goes to Hetherington. Alloa looking to reduce the deficit to 1 once again and give themselves a fighting chance in the closing stages. There's 17 minutes to go. It's Rangers 3, Alloa 1 in the final Premier Sports Cup tie of the afternoon. 2 to come tomorrow as Conor Barron comes forward. He's in behind Aarons, and in deflection almost takes it into the back of the net. I thought that came off Giga last. The referee points for a goal kick, but I mean, seemed to me the covering defender knocked that goalwards.
Well, that ball travels 70 yards, and Connor Salmon's in the inside of Aarons, holding him off. None of the centre-backs look across and recognise the danger. And they're very lucky again, Rangers, that Salmon doesn't deflect that into the net.
Here's Cortez, right-hand side, can't find Eagleman inside. Breaks out to the right-hand side, and the Colombian will keep it in and roll it back to Aarons. But yeah, certainly a bit of defensive diligence still for Rangers to work on, because certainly the likes of Club Brugge, when they come here in midweek, are the type of team you would imagine will be able to punish such lapses in concentration. Alloa have a throw in deep in their own territory here as they try and get the ball up the other end to make an impact on the scoreline once again. It's O'Donnell, closed down by Barron well though, forward for Eagleman, trying to lose Devine but can't get there. Hetherington fouled by Dowell, reckons the referee, and Alloa will get a free kick just outside their own penalty area. Just over a quarter of an hour to play. Rangers looking pretty comfortable, you'd have to say, at this stage. It would take a massive upheaval in the game for Alloa to come back and shock them from here, as Salmon makes the run forward. Looked like he was maybe starting from an offside position. Back goes Fernandez. The assistant referee points for a corner as opposed to the offside, which I thought might come, and it will be a corner to Alloa.
There's 2 instances there. The first one that Rory highlighted that's played out right in front of you, as you know, the previous instance
the ball travels, Tony.
Again, there's a ball in behind with Conor Salmon, who, with the greatest respect, shouldn't he win a foot race there? And he does. He gets ahead of them and he wins a corner, and this is now an opportunity defending a corner.
And it comes Tavernier first to it just before Salmon at the back post. By Ramio, race over to keep that in at the corner flag on the right hand side. His clearance fortuitously comes the way of Tavernier, who tries to clip it forward for Cortez, and it's headed out of play for a Rangers throw-in on this near side just down below us, midway inside their own half. Tavernier over on the right hand side just at the moment with Aarons going across to the left. Again, I'm not sure if that's momentary or going to stick with that for the time being, as Rangers come forward down the left hand side with Aarons, and it's infield to Barron for Eagleman. Back with Barron out to the right hand side to Tavernier, and now Cortez right hand side trying to attack O'Donnell. Back the way for Tavernier, who advances though. Eagleman just slips it back to Barron, tries to find the ball out to the left hand side, but it was easily cut out. It was rather telegraphed, and a foul in there that is allowed to go because Alloa have the ball and the advantage down that right hand side. There's a little clip there on Aarons, and Barron's going to be shown the yellow card retrospectively for that earlier foul, but it is going to be a free kick now Rangers way, just at the edge of their own penalty area. 76.5 minutes gone. It's Rangers 3, Alloa 1.
Yeah, it's just frustration from Connor Barron. He's done really well since he came on the pitch, but maybe just forced that particular pass, gave it away, and I think it was just a reaction out of frustration more than anything else. I think he decided early doors, Tony, was going to happen.
It's exactly what Connor is. You know, I walked with him as a kid. He always wants on the ball, and when he gives it away, all he wants to do is get it back. And I think you're right there. I think there's a wee bit over enthusiasm by him, but as you say there, his energy levels, and he's really giving the team a spark.
I wonder if that Connor Barron challenge is going to be punished further. Yeah, there was a VAR check going on for a possible red card, and I can only assume it was for that one, but it's quickly ruled as being nothing worse than it was first decided upon by the referee, so we are back underway. Rangers leading by 3-1, 13 to play. Alloa can be pleased with the way they are played here as Finlay Curtis prepares to come on for Rangers, but Rangers would clearly like some more goals to really show their dominance. But Connor Salmon is picked up in an advanced position, comes back in field, thought he might get the shot off early. He's at the edge of the box, he's been well held up in the end. But again, Rangers looked like they were just pretty open as they coughed up possession in the middle of the park, and again, you would imagine a better team could have really punished them there.
That would concern me. You know, you can see it a mile away from here that Fernandez has got to be over this side in the cover. When he doesn't go over, and again Salmon, you can get an opportunity to get through there, and a wee bit more pace, he's in and goal.
Aarons with a foul over near the corner flag, and that's been penalised. It's an Alloa free kick.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree with Tony. There's a difference if he recognises it and he comes over and maybe makes a mistake, then you go, well, fair enough. The fact he doesn't even recognise it is a concern, because it's happened 2 or 3 times in the last 10 minutes.
So, sorry, on you go, Tony.
And just these little things give a glimmer of hope. You know, they've now got an opportunity to throw a ball inside in the box, get their centre half Alloa up to it, and they can make it an early finish in a game that should be really comfortable for Rangers.
Absolutely. If they get a goal here, then who knows what would happen in the final 10 minutes. But it's a free kick just a few yards in from the corner flag on the diagonal. Right hand side, it's going to be swept in, I think, by O'Donnell, left footed. Curls that in towards, goes a good ball, it's off the bar, and it's in! Alloa have got one back as Scott Taggart from a couple of yards out. The header initially from Devine came back off the crossbar and almost ricocheted off the shin of Scott Taggart, and incredibly Alloa have a lifeline with 10 to play. It is Rangers 3, Alloa 2.
Look, it might be quite controversial to say this on the balance of play and the possession Rangers have had, but I think Alloa deserve that, I really do. You know, they've created opportunities through, whether it's through good play themselves or whether it's through laziness at the back and, you know, not taking your time, not concentrating. Alloa have had opportunities. They were very unfortunate with the penalty as well. They're back in it now at 3-2. And, you know, if Salmon continues to disrupt the 2 centre-backs, you just never know.
Incredible stuff here at Ibrox. Just when it looked like Alloa were down and out, they have another goal to show for their efforts here this afternoon. And
Finlay Curtis has been told to sit down, I think.
Yeah, looks like it. Back to within a goal of their more illustrious opponents. And it's been given away by Barron in the middle of the park. Connor Salmon has tried his luck from the halfway line as he saw Liam Kelly backpedaling, but he hasn't managed to hit the target. And it's behind for a goal kick. We've got just under 10 to play then of the 90. Rangers leading by 3-2, and should, on the balance of play, have been out of sight, but they have been unable to really prize this Alloa defence open to any great extent.
You're right to say that, Al. On the balance of play, it should be Rangers' 4 or 5 goals. You know, they should, but at the moment, you know, there were 3 instances leading up to that we identified that there was just those little bits of slack defending that allowed that opportunity, and when they do get that opportunity, they take it.
Asghar from the edge of the box just drags his shot wide as he looks for a debut goal himself. He's frustrated with himself there.
He's taken a lot of stick recently, Kieran Dowell. That was a wonderful pass into Asghar. You know, he recognised it wasn't on the first time, and then the second time, Tony's spoken about it all day, the pace of the pass. He bullets it into him, trusts that he can take a good first touch, which he does. Just drags his shot wide.
Scott Taggart, the Alloa captain, more than 400 or coming up for 400 appearances for the club, and he has notched a goal here to bring Alloa back into this game. It could be better for them as forward comes Buchanan, but Tavernier just out-muscles him almost, sees him out of play, and it'll be a Rangers goal kick. 8.5 to play. Rangers 3, Alloa 2.
Do you know what, Rory, just to say, I think big Connor Salmon, he's an absolute credit. You know, he's come on there. I watched him actually in the warm-up, and he was getting the subs working away in the warm-up. You can see 38 years old, he's had a brilliant career, you know, at Wigan and Derby, and obviously Kilmarnock that period is. But he's come on here and he's really given the centre-halves a hard time. 38 years old.
No, he has, and you know, certain things he's done really well, but other times with the two centre backs, you know, pretty simple movement, and, you know, just being big and being strong has caused the two centre backs all sorts of trouble, but he's certainly been a different option.
Ball played forward by Kelly, headed away by Waters, but picked up by Dowell. Now Cortez in field for Eagleman. Now it's Tavernier, square for Barron, midway inside the Alloa half. Rangers will possibly feel they need another goal just to take this game away from Alloa, who will have a new lease of life in these closing stages, having come back to within a goal of Rangers. 3-2 they trail. It's Tavernier now up to the edge of the box for Dowell, back with Tavernier, who is playing on the right again, and Aarons on the left. Flicked forward by Tavernier, but straight to O'Donnell, who provided that excellent free kick for the second Alloa goal, and then Rangers have conceded a free kick. Tavernier punished. There's going to be a change now, and Finlay Curtis is going to come on for these closing stages. It's Oscar Cortez who makes way for the teenager.
I think a change for Alloa as well. They're bringing on Luke Donnelly, who's a striker, so they're obviously thinking, you know, the latter stages of the game, they're going to have a go, see if they can take this game to extra time.
If you can get the ball up to Connor Salmon, certainly, and get somebody around him, then they've every chance of creating another opportunity. I think the wider issue here for Rangers is, though, you know, their own downfall has been down to them a lot of the time, especially defensively. You don't want to attract negative attention. Russell Martin, there's questions asked already. Yes, it's early, I do understand that. But, you know, come out, win this, be professional. You often hear about these professional performances in fixtures like this. They've been professional to a degree, but defensively they've been really, really poor.
Throw in over on the far side to Rangers, deep in their own half. 6 minutes to play. They lead by 3-2, the home side. 10 yards or so from the corner flag on the left-hand side as Alloa prepares to make that change that Tory mentioned. Luke Donnelly stripped. Just made his first appearance of the season in midweek against Stranraer, having missed the League Cup group games, and back on the bench for the 2 league games, but unused so far, other than that Stranraer game in midweek, as I mentioned. So McFarlane clips it forward, the Alloa keeper, onto the head it goes of Fernandez, helped on by Asgar, and now it's Eagleman advancing towards the edge of the penalty area. Asgar's made the run. Is it just too far ahead of him? He stretches, but he can't get there ahead of McFarlane, who bravely came out, dived at his feet to thwart Asgar and deny him that debut goal. 85 on the clock. Rangers 3, Alloa 2.
Just wonder if Finlay Curtis was maybe the better option there. Asgar's run across the defence had opened up the space for Curtis.
Devine clips it forward for O'Donnell down the left-hand side of the Rangers penalty area. O'Donnell checks back the way he's challenged by Tavernier, and Donnelly is going to come on now for these closing stages, maybe to try and force extra time. Who knows? He's going to replace Curtis Roberts out there, as Andy Graham feels he might as well go for it in these last few minutes. Luke Donnelly, former Celtic youth, for whom I'm sure it would be pretty sweet if he could have a late equalising goal for Alloa.
Yeah, 2 number 9s on the pitch now for Alloa, getting into the last 5 minutes. They're obviously sensing they can maybe get something, but that last attack with Rangers, where they were 4v3, you know, just again picking that wrong option. I thought it was a brilliant run by Asgard. He looks such a powerful player, and his runs into the box here, but just picking the wrong option.
Barron Gets it forward to Igma, has slipped it round Devine beautifully, and now he tosses the halfway line. Alloa trying to get bodies back to stop him. Igman goes down, he was fouled by Hetherington, and the referee shows him a yellow card for his troubles, but Igman showing just lovely footwork there to get down the right hand side.
Yeah, he sells the dummy brilliantly, takes the player at the game. Stephen Hetherington, yes, you know, it's a foul and it's a booking, but he makes up the ground really, really well. He's worked ever so hard, but in the 86th minute, and he covers the ground well. It's probably not a bad foul to give away at this time in the match either.
It's a good foul. Rangers had a good break on it again. You've seen the running. Tower Asgard just trying to get beyond there. And I think, yeah, you're right, it's a good professional foul.
Here is Asgard, plays it back the way to Barron, left to Aarons, and now out to that left flank to Bayrami, back with Aarons once more. Now it's Fernandez, just on the halfway line. Giga for Igman, who's sat deep just for a moment, plays it to Tavernier, goes in field to Fernandez. Left hand side is Aarons, Bayrami, and then helped on by Asgard, gives Bayrami a lot to do there. Scott Taggart, the man whose goal breathed new life into the game for Alloa. He clears his lines, and Rangers pick up on the halfway line. Giga gets it to Tavernier. Still life in this game. 3-2 Rangers lead. Tavernier can't find a teammate. Dowell works back and manages to win it, and then good strength from Giga to just outmuscle Connor Salmon, who's still a good physical specimen out there as his football career begins to wind down, you imagine. Aarons back to Fernandez, just inside his own half. Asgard drops off and plays it back to Giga. A couple of minutes left here for Alloa to try and find an equaliser, or Rangers to hold on, potentially try and extend their lead here as Finlay Curtis picks up right hand side. A couple of players to beat, doesn't need to do that, he just sends it into the box. Comes to Bayrami at the back post, leaves it for Igman. Igman at the edge of the box, left hand side. Bayrami now back to Barron. Barron 25 yards from goal, leaves it to Tavernier. Left of centre, out to Aarons. Igman again takes over, about 30 yards from goal. Into Tavernier it goes. Alloa get plenty bodies back, trying to make life difficult for Rangers. It comes back to Barron. Barron onto the left foot, he goes for goal, but pretty adventurous and never in any trouble. It was Liam McFarlane there as he gets the goal kick. Alloa goal kick, just over a minute of the 90 left. Rangers 3, Alloa 2.
Yeah, a shot from distance. Alloa will be happy that they've managed to limit Rangers there to a shot from distance as they look to go forward themselves and try and grab a dramatic equaliser.
And I was really impressed with Alloa's game plan. You see now with with Connor Salmon being up the pitch now, he's keeping the 2 centre halves back, which means Rangers don't dominate that possession like they did earlier on. And then when the goalkeeper's got it, he kicks long. Connor Salmon wins it and they get up support. Now Rangers are on the break on a transition.
Yeah, Dowell for Curtis into the penalty area. He's gone for goal, he's found it, yes he has, and off the post. That settles it for Rangers. Finlay Curtis, a really nice finish, very tidy, across the goalkeeper and then off the inside of the far post. And that will do it for Rangers to take them into the quarter-final draw. Alloa have worked hard all day long, they've made it difficult for Rangers, but finally they succumb. It's Rangers 4, Alloa 2.
It's a good break from Rangers, really good in that instance there. They made the right choice of pass, and it's a good finish in off the inside of the post for young Curtis. So yeah, I mean, Rangers have scored 4 goals today. They could have scored a lot more goals if they'd just taken a little bit more care in that final third, but they've got to be happy with scoring 4.
Yeah, I agree. I think as well the point I made about Cortez earlier, £4 million, he's got an opportunity to start today, and he flitted in and out of the game. Curtis has been on the pitch for 5 minutes, and his output is a goal, and his output in a few games this season has been a goal or an assist. So as I said before, I think when it comes to competition for places, you're looking for more from your higher value signings like Oscar Cortez when you see what a young player like Finlay Curtis can come on and do within 5 minutes.
Yeah, second goal of the season for the young man, having opened the scoring against Panathinaikos here in the opening game of the season. As Rangers try and come forward again. 4-2 they lead as we play out 3 minutes of injury time. There's going to be a couple of late changes here for Alloa, as much to give a couple of other players a taste of playing at Ibrox. It's going to be Andrew Clark, signed in the summer from Northern Irish football, and Lewis Bruin are going to come on for the final moments. Hetherington will make way as one of the changes in the midfield, and also Stephen Buchanan, who more than played his part in that opening goal for Alloa and throughout the game posed a menace down the right hand side. They're replaced for the final 90 seconds or thereabouts, as it looks like Rangers now are going to make their way into the last 8 of the League Cup competition. They last won a couple of seasons ago, Philippe Clement's only trophy in his time at Rangers, and Russell Martin would clearly like to make it his first of his tenure, as Emmanuel Fernandez, one of his summer signings, crosses the halfway line with a debut goal to his name. Aaron's now left hand side into the final minute of the initial 3 added on. It's Fernandez in possession. The fight is somewhat gone out of Alloa now, given the concession of that late 4th goal, which just took the game away from them. But massive credit to Alloa this afternoon.
It's just deflated them, hasn't it? Which is understandable, but they can be proud of their day's work.
That's Eagleman, you heard screaming in pain potentially there. A yellow card for Devine for the challenge from behind. Eagleman quickly back on his feet, but Devine shown the yellow card for the challenge on him, and Rangers get the free kick taken by Barron for Tavernier midway inside the Alloa half. Rangers just going to see this out now. A much stiffer test, you would imagine, to come in midweek as Club Brugge visit, and Rangers so desperate to get back to the Champions League. For now though, they have made their way into the quarter-final of the Premier Sports Cup with a 4-2 victory over Alloa, who made them work oh so hard throughout that game. It was a first half that Rangers began brightly and got the opening goal through Nadeem Bayrami before being pegged back midway through the first period when Joe Rothwell turned into his own net in an untidy bit of defending by Rangers as Alloa pegged them back. Immediately though, almost Emmanuel Fernandez put Rangers back in front, heading a Joe Rothwell free kick beyond the keeper to make it 2-1. That was a half-time scoreline. Alloa would not give in though, and made life difficult for Rangers throughout the second half until Tavernier was able to put Rangers 2 goals to the goods. Cortez looked like he had a tap-in to make it 3-1, only for Cammy O'Donnell to get back in what looked like a great bit of defending, but VAR intervened and then the referee came across, had a look, saw a handball. Tavernier from the spot made it 3-1. But there was further drama 10 minutes from time. An Alloa free kick, O'Donnell sent it in, Devine headed off the bar, and it came back off Scott Taggart into the net to make it 3-2. Some nervy moments perhaps for Rangers, but it was settled in the final minute of the 90 as Dowell released Curtis, the substitute, who fired it across the keeper in off the far post to make the final scoreline at Ibrox. Rangers 4, Alloa 2.
Football.